In this video, we're going to learn about HTML text basics and the new text structuring elements in HTML5. Now, before moving forward, you can see that I have this basic structure typed out on my editor. You can see that I have a heading, then I have a paragraph for this heading, then I have this subheading, paragraph for it, and then a subheading which is even smaller. In the comment you can see, and then I have this paragraph for this heading. This text is properly structured the way I want. You can see that this text is the way I want my text to appear in the browser. But this is not how our text will appear. As you remember, I said in the last video that if you add extra lines or spaces, a browser will not detect it on its own. You have to use tags. So what are the basic tags that we need in HTML to format our text art structure? So let's open it up in the browser first. You can see that this is the way our structure looks. This is the way our body content looks. We don't have a title yet, so we'll add a title first. Let's go to the title section. We'll add HTML text basics. Okay. Now, first I want a heading here. In HTML, there are 6 types of heading tags. It goes from H1 to H6 and it goes from large size to small size. And the heading tags require a closing tag. I want the largest heading to appear here. That is, I'll use the H1 heading. And you can see that I have opened this H1 tag, and as soon as I opened it, I closed this tag. And I'll add this text inside this H1 tag. So you can see that a heading has appeared here and it is the largest font size. Now, what I want here is a subheading. So here I'll add an H2 tag and I'll close this after the text. So you can see that a subheading has appeared here, and automatically before adding, you can see that before I added this H2 tag, you can see that this subheading was here and the next element that we have was directly next to it. It didn't go on the new line, but as soon as I added H2 here and closed it off, you can see that this line contains only H2, and this paragraph is shifted automatically on its own to the next line. Now I need a subheading here that is even smaller than H2. So we have H3. As you go down from H1, you have smaller size of headings. You can see that this subheading is even smaller. So there are 6 types of headings in HTML. If you want to see, I will show you one by one how each heading looks. Then we have H3. After H3, we have the H4 heading. And the size of these heading tags goes on decreasing. And as we reach on H6, this is the smallest heading size we have. You can see on the right side of your screen that H1 is the largest, then followed by H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6. Okay, so these are the heading tags in HTML. Now, the next thing I want to do is, I want my browser to know that this is a paragraph. And this paragraph is related to this H1 tag. Right now, the browser does not recognize this as a paragraph. The browser recognizes it just as a normal text. So how can we tell a browser that this content is not normal text, this is a paragraph? This whole complete paragraph is connected. So what we'll do is, we'll add a tag that is a paragraph tag. And the syntax is, you open a bracket, we write P, and then after we're done with the paragraph, at the end of the paragraph, we'll add a closing P tag. And we'll save it. To save, you can just click Ctrl S. Okay. Now, here also I want a browser to know that this also is a paragraph. So again, I'll add a P tag here. And I'll add a closing P tag over here. Again, same for the H3. This is also a paragraph, so I'll again add P tag here. And at the end of this paragraph, I'll add a closing P tag. And I'll save it. Let's check it in our browser. So we have our name here. You can see HTML text basics. We have the headings. Okay. Then we have this paragraph, and then this paragraph. So what a paragraph does, you cannot see this on the browser. There's no specific change, but what a browser does is it adds spacing, it adds borders, it adds padding of its own. what that all means we'll see in the styling video when we start one. Okay, right now you just need to know that if you want a content to be written in a paragraph, you add the p tag. Now you can see that in my code, after every full stop I have used a new line. After every full stop I started a new line. But in the browser, this content, you can see in the browser that this content does not is not displayed after a new line after every full stop. Now how can we do that? How can we start a new line after every full stop? So there's a tag you can use called as the line break tag or the BR tag. So you just open and add a slash before closing it. This is a self-closing tags. We learned about self-closing tags in the last video. So we'll add this tag to after every full stop, so that the next line appears on a new line. The next sentence appears on a new line. Okay, we'll add it to second paragraph also. We'll add it after every full stop, so the next sentence appears on a new line. Okay, we'll just add it. Now we're done. We'll save it. Now before opening up in the browser, before refreshing it, you can see that this is how our content appears, and this is how our content needs to appear. Now I've saved this. Now as soon as I hit refresh in a browser, you can see that this content is now much better than before. I just remove these heading tags that you can see it properly, and I'll save it. Now if I open up the browser again, I'll refresh it. You can see that I have a heading, then I have this paragraph, I have a subheading, then I have this paragraph, and I have a subheading that has this paragraph. So this was the basic of HTML elements, of HTML text basics. Now we're going to see how to structure text according to the new HTML5 elements that have been introduced. So the HTML5 specifications introduce several semantic sectioning elements to help organize the structure of our documents. And one of the semantic element that we're going to see is called as the section tag. Now I want our browser to know that this whole part, this heading and this heading, I'll create a h1 heading here so that you can differentiate. I'll remove this comment and I'll remove this subheading. I'll create this heading also. So now our browser needs to know that this whole content is grouped together. This is about one thing, and then this part is about another thing. So what we'll do is we'll add a section tag after this body tag and before this h1 tag. Okay, we'll add this section tag and we'll close it off after this paragraph tag of our second subheading. We'll close it off here. Then again we'll open a section tag before this h1 tag, and again we'll close it off at the end of this paragraph tag. Okay, we'll save it. Now what this section element does is it is used to group contents that are similar. So suppose these two paragraphs are similar content, so this section tag will group them together. A section tag should typically contain a heading. Okay, these tags do not really change the visible appearance of the page, but now our browser recognizes that two groups of information are separate. So this information, this section is different, and then this section is different. Now our browser, with the help of this section tag, can easily recognize this. Okay, now let's open it up in a browser. You can see that now this one section has been created and this section is a different section. Okay, a browser recognizes that. Now what more does sections do, we'll see in a later videos. Now the next tag that we're going to use is the article tag. If you have any content that is separate from the main content and does not require grouping, you can use the article tag. Okay, so instead of section tag, I'll add an article tag here. It also requires a closing and an opening tag. Okay, we'll open it here and we'll close it at the end. We'll save it and let's open it up in a browser. Again, this tag does not do any specific change, but now the browser knows that this tag is not related to our main content. Okay, this is an article, this is a separate tag from this section tag. This does not require a grouping. Now the next tag that we're going to see is called as the aside tag. If you have some content that is aside from the content you have placed in, then you can use the aside tag. The aside tag content should be indirectly related to the surrounding content. This tag also does not change the physical appearance of our page, but it has some tags that can be used. One such tag is the block quote tag. Now, suppose I want this content, I'll remove this section tag and I'll place it after this paragraph tag, and here I'll use the aside tag after this h2 heading. Okay, and I'll close this aside tag over here. Okay, now I'll save it, and instead of this p I'll use a tag called as block quote. Okay, and I'll close this block quote over here. Let's open it up browser. Now you can see that there's no changes, but as soon as we refresh it, this content inside the paragraph shifts a little bit to the right. What if we add this heading also? Let's add this heading to the aside tag. We'll save it again. Let's open it up in a browser. Let's refresh this. Now our browser recognizes that this content, this whole part, is aside from this or this. This is a separate part, and as soon as we used this block quote instead of the paragraph tag, what it did was, you can see on the right side also, what it did was it shifted a little bit to the right. You can use block quote when you want to quote something someone has said, like if you want to use a quotation or you want to use anything else that is not related to your content, you can use this aside tag and this block quote tag. Okay, so now we saw different types of heading. We saw the paragraph tag, we saw the line break tag, then we saw this section tag that is used to group elements together. We saw this article tag that tells the browser that this element does not need grouping, it is a single standalone element, standalone content. And then we saw the aside tag for the content that is not related directly but indirectly to our content. Now we'll see a few tags that are related to the structuring or formatting our text, our normal text, and adding a few styles to it. Let's delete all of this. Now let's add a normal paragraph and a text inside it. This is a text. We'll close off this p tag. Now you can see that this is how our element appears in HTML. This is how it looks, normal text. Now what if I want to add few styles to this text? Suppose I want to make this text look bold, or I want this to look italic. How can I do that? So we can do both of them in two ways. First, let's see for bold. First we'll add a normal b tag, and then we'll add this content inside this b tag. Okay, and we'll close off this b tag. Then you can see on this right side of the screen that now the text is converted into bold text. Now one more way to convert our text to bold is using strong tag. Okay, we'll paste this, again we'll close off this strong tag. Now you can see that both of them are similar in their appearances. Okay, you cannot distinguish between the both of them, only the browser can tell. And there's one difference between the both of them. I'll tell you the difference after we see this italic tag. So to convert this text into italic, we're going to use a tag that is called as the I tag. So you open a bracket, write I, then you paste the content, and then you close off this I tag. And then another way to convert a text into italic is by using the em tag or the emphasis tag. So it goes em, then you paste the content, and then you close off this em tag. So now you can see that this is also similar, their appearance is also similar. Again you cannot distinguish that we have used I here and we have used em here. So now you might ask, what is the difference between bold and strong, or b and strong tag, and I and em tag? The only difference between bold and strong and I and em is that strong tag tells the browser that text is to be converted into bold and also that this text is important. It puts the browser's focus on this text, whereas bold tag only converts this text to bold tag. It does not tell the browser that this text is important. Same with the EM and I tag. EM tag converts the text to italics as well as tells the browser to put more focus on this text and tells the browser that this text is important. But I tag only converts this line into italics. Okay. Now if you want to underline your text, you can use this tag called as the U tag, underline tag, then again put the content. Now you can see that this text is underlined. Okay. If you want a subscripted tag, then you can use this sub tag, paste the content inside it, and again you can see that this is subscripted. Okay, this is smaller. If you write something above here, you'll write, suppose you write A here, you can see that it appears below A. This is subscript. Then if you want to add a script tag, then if you want to add a deleted tag, you can use delete one option is there. Okay, we'll close this first. We'll use deleted text. We'll again paste this. You can see that a line appears on this text that says that this text is deleted. Then again we have inserted text, and this is how our inserted text looks like. So we have many types we can use to display our normal text. We have bold, italics, underlined, subscripted, then again super subscripted is also there. Okay, so this is how superscript looks like. You can use this superscript if you want to give a power, yes, to power something, and you can use this subscript if you want to write something below the text. You can see the difference, right? A and then subscript, and 2 and then super subscript, right? So now that was it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.